No, don't move it. Here, just move it closer to you. Yeah. There we go.
I want to thank everyone for coming out, but I also want to thank, to congratulate anybody who's been in prison for decades, and when they come out, they come to a poetry show. So we have members who are restarting their lives again in our audience. So I want to congratulate them for their efforts. And on the sixth day, things were too quiet in heaven. So God said, let there be black folks on day number 7. And he filled them with the blues. This one's for you, Mr. Langston Hughes. In the course of this reading, there's 3 things I want you to remember the most. A red bicycle, a dinosaur, and a street named East Nichols Avenue, which I'm going to share is significant. This is the book, They Wouldn't Let Me Be White. If I go here, I'll read this paragraph here. Of 1,000 white kids in the community, only 2 of them were daring enough to cross the racial divide and interact with black people. I lived on a street called East Nichols Avenue. There were 14 houses on the street, 12 of which were occupied by white families. It took me about 3 minutes to ride my red bicycle to the end of the corner where the next 20 houses, 10 on each side, were occupied by white people. It was a given for us to stay on our side of East Nichols Avenue and to leave those white folks alone. For a few moments I peered over the handlebars, wondering how I could be white if I wasn't even allowed to socialize with white children, and most of those white kids were advised not to talk to me. Of the 2 kids, I remember them both by name that could associate with me. The first was a girl named Sandy, who they cruelly called white trash. The second was Aaron, a first-grade kid who was seriously ill and showed me his colostomy bag. Not the coolest white kids, but it was the start. I finally had my first white friends. That's from the intro. I was on a radio station in Ireland, and I sat back and listened to the recording of it, and they were playing the poetry in Ireland, wherever Ireland, I know where Ireland is. And I just thought about how did I get to this place from this place. So I want to share something about my childhood. And this is, you can look at the picture here. And your stepfather, who was opening presents on December 25th and opening up your sister on December 24th. How do you know if an angle is acute or obtuse when one of the sides are loose, or when the base is fooling around with the hypotenuse? And though your stepfather wasn't shit, he was the best a mother with 8 children could get. And learning the tickle game from your stepfather was cool, I suppose, until he said, now let's play without clothes. And when the numerator says, tell mommy later, and you just know that the big bad denominator will get you sooner or later, I guess I can call these improper actions. Or watching pornographic movies with your stepfather at the age of 8, when the wonderful world of Disney or chasing a frisbee would have been just as great. And how can I ever know how this affected my fate? And seeing the love of your mother's life shooting heroin through the cracks of a curtain, your young eyes afraid to be certain, and hearing later that night from your mother, how can you believe these children? You are my wife. Her responding, go, get the hell out of my life. And the look in her eyes the next morning like she had slept on a knife. And though she kept more secrets than Victoria had underwear, how did she hide so much despair? Where and how do you divide if the quotient isn't there?